This is From Hero to Zero, a show about the misconception of the demise of the music industry. We talk to heroes to make sense of the alleged zero, the music business. Hey Steve, how you doing?
Hey, good, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedule, sitting down with us and talking about Monster Truck.
My pleasure.
Cool, so Steve, you play with Monster Truck, Canadian band, played rock music, been together since 2009-ish, released a couple of albums, couple of EPs, and now touring Europe. Where do you see, or how do you perceive the music business today in 2016 as a musician?
I perceive it as a very as do-it-yourself as you can kind of thing, you know, because it's honestly always changing. You know, the way to become successful, or the way to turn it into a career, or the way to make money. There's so many different avenues now that you can go down to try and achieve that goal, and you've got to be always kind of with your ear to the ground, trying to be on the leading edge of what's working these days, you know, like that obviously on top of writing good songs and you know, recording good albums. That's obviously first and foremost, but in this, you know, it's not like it was back in the 70s. Like I was just watching the TV show Vinyl. I don't know if you have it over here in Europe, but yeah.
I started watching it as well.
Yeah, it's like, you know, things were much different back then. You know, I mean, obviously that's a bit of a cartoon version of it, you know, like way blown out of proportion, but I'm sure it wasn't that far off, you know, and that's just how things kind of, there was way more of a set pattern and you know, thing that you would go through to try and achieve this end goal, that you just get plugged into a system and they promote you and they put your album to the radio and they put you on tours, you know, and it's not so much like that anymore. Like now it can be a really good thing to be on a small label, because they're gonna care a lot more about your individual needs and not just try and plug you into their formula that has worked in the past with bands, you know. So I think it's way more do-it-yourself than it used to be, you know.
Do you sometimes wish that the system or the business model would be more like back in the days than today?
I think in terms of how willing labels were to spend money on their acts, yes. Now they're so scared to spend too much money on an act because there's no guarantees at all, you know. So it's a bit harder to pull money out of your record label these days, you know. But on the flip side of that, I also think that I personally, in our band, we think that it's better to have as much of a hands-on approach and do-it-yourself approach as possible, because you know how your business is running. You know, you have to, when it gets to a certain point, you have to start thinking about it as a business that you're running, and you have to start making decisions that are going to help grow your business, you know, so I kind of like the fact that it's a bit more do-it-yourself these days, but like I said, it's just the finances behind bands are a bit tighter these days, you know, especially in the rock climate, which seems to be on a bit of over here in Europe, not so much the same, but in North America, it's like pop music and country music those are the biggest genres of music right now, and rock is experiencing a bit of it's all a cycle. It's down here and it's going to come back up here again. It's just a matter of finding those bands to make those albums and make it exciting again, you know?
Sure. You just mentioned finance. What we have today, what we didn't have maybe 10 years ago, or maybe even less than that, is crowdfunding platforms such as Kickstarter or Pledge Music. I don't know if you ever looked into that. Have you ever looked into that?
We've never actually done that before. We've never needed to do something bad enough that we needed to go about getting funds for it that way. Our approach has always been, you know, do things when we are afforded to do them. You know, don't rush into anything. Don't get over our head with, you know, all this money that I know crowdfunding isn't borrowing, but you know, it's I don't know, I feel like you're held a little more held a little more responsible when you take money from your fans to
Directly,
put something on, you know, and you're not taking money from your record label to, you know, it's yeah, we've never done that. I mean, it works, and you know, for some things, but we've never actually done it ourselves. But it's, you know, afforded people that we know chances to make albums they never would have been able to make otherwise, or you know, things like that. So
interesting. Maybe stay in the topic of finance. It has been said that bands nowadays, in order to actually make money, to make a profit, to break even maybe even, they have to tour a very long cycle a year. Have you seen that with your band as well? What's your opinion on it?
That's yeah, we agree with that. Like we've known since we started touring, we started actually touring a lot about 5 or 6 years ago. We didn't tour for a couple of years right off the bat because we knew that we just had to write an arsenal of good songs that we could take out on tour, and we wanted to wait until we weren't gonna lose thousands and thousands of dollars just being for the sake of being out on tour. You know, we were kind of smart in picking our you know, the tour options we were given to try and do. Now, does this make sense? You know, and we kind of put a good taste in our mouth from touring right from the get-go, because we weren't wasting money, and then we realized soon after that, you know, that's going to be our bread and butter. You know, that's how we're going to make the most of our money, is being out on the road as much as we can. Right now we're in a bit of a transition period where we're playing now in all of these places around the world where we have an opportunity to go to, which is great, but we're still building our name and our value. So it still costs us money to come to Europe and to even tour in the States sometimes. But the opportunities that it's giving us for the future, and you know, things like that, make it worthwhile. So it's even though you know, at the moment some tours may not monetarily be you know, lining our pockets, it's working towards you know, a setup for next year when we come back and headline our own shows here, you know.
So an investment for the future, basically.
Exactly, yeah. And you just got to be smart about those, like in any business, right? You
exactly.
know? Yeah.
So basically you try to build a following, having more fans, and I saw that you've toured with very big names like Alice in Chains, Buckcherry, Deep Purple / Nickelback, of course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Our countrymen.
Exactly. Same country, same city?
No,
okay.
Other side. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So you've toured with these big bands, you open for them, and you get to play, let's use the word, humongous arenas, at least, yeah, I would assume. Does it actually, do you see a certain conversion rate, a certain return on that investment, you know, with having more Facebook fans, more social media reaction?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's something that we're pretty good at, is winning over crowds. You know, some of that has to do with us being on tour with the right bands who have the right fans who are going to, you know, embrace us. You know, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be the case if we were, you know, out touring with like Lamb of God, or you know, like
bit different
like,
style.
Yeah. Like it's. I mean, I love that band, but I mean, we've been lucky enough to be playing these shows in these humongous arenas to fans that are, you know, that we're accessible to, you know, and we've always done a pretty good job of converting crowds and noticing increased numbers on like our online, you know, social media stuff, and even just the next time we go back and play as a small club show in that city, there'll be, you know, 300, 400, 500 people, you know, that were at that show, and you know, that's only 1/15 of the crowd, really, you know, but just that small amount makes, when we come back and we play a room like this size, that makes it awesome, you know, and that's where we start building the ability to come over here and not lose money every time, you know?
Exactly. If I send you a message on Facebook to Monster Truck, to the fan page, Is it going to be someone from the band replying, or is it your management?
Jared, it's going to be Jared, our guitar player.
Okay.
Yeah, he is like Mr. Online social media man. He's on top of that like it's nobody's business. He responds personally to all the Facebook messages, and we do all our posts, our own posts, like Instagram as well. He's right on top of that. You know, we're lucky to have a guy in our band like that, because we've noticed that fans really appreciate when you know, the social media of the band is actually handled by someone in the band, you know. So it's, I mean, I'm not very good at that stuff personally, so if I was in charge of it, it would be in shambles, but we're lucky to have a guy like Jared who's just all over it. Yeah.
Sure. Which is, again, as you mentioned at the beginning, part of doing it yourself, right?
It's hugely helpful, yeah. Like, trying to start a band nowadays is so much easier just to get your music out there than before, you know, with all these outlets. It's unbelievable, you know. Like, I remember the first band that I was playing in, we made like cassette tapes, and we were trying to just sell them at anywhere, you know, and it's just like you'd have to bring the tape home and rewind and fast forward, you know.
Good times.
You know? Yeah, exactly, yeah. So but that, you know, it's just so much easier now, and that's a huge advantage for young bands, I think.
Sure. And what's your I mean, you just mentioned it today. It's so much easier to get hold of someone's music or to discover new artists. Streaming, like Spotify and so on, is one part of it. There is a certain school of thought that says it devalues music because it's so easily accessible. What's your take on that?
We've always kind of, well, or maybe I'll just speak for myself on this one. I've always kind of looked at our albums as kind of like an advertisement to come see us live, you know, or you know, not completely. Like I know obviously appreciate the integrity of a good album, you know, and everything like that. But I think it's with us in particular, we just want people to come and see our live show, because that we've always had more of a challenge replicating our live show to a disc than replicating our disc in a live show, you know? So we always want people to just come see us live, and that's kind of the approach we take with our albums, you know? It's just, you know, that while, you know, walking the line of making, like this album, Sittin Heavy, we did put a lot of work into, you know, the journey it takes you on, and the track listing, and you know, it's to be enjoyed as an album, not just a bunch of single songs, you know. But we also realized that, yeah, like we were talking about earlier, touring and playing live is our main income. We're not gonna, you know, pay our bills with album sales these days. You know, that's not happening anytime soon.
Sure.
Unless we start selling like U2 or something like that, you know. But yeah, it's kind of a calling card for our live show.
Beautiful, and I think your new album sounds great, and I hope that more people will buy it and especially come to the shows.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, Steve, it was very interesting. All the best, and
thank you very
hopefully
much.
See you again.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.